It's never been easier to purchase IELTS books with the show. Just go to tiki.vn, and with just one mouse click, you'll be able to find the perfect IELTS books you've been waiting for. Purchase anywhere and receive discounts. Go to tiki.vn and buy.
We'll do this part first, okay?
Perfect. Let's start the show. Yes. We are starting IELTS Face-Off, and at every start of the show, I need my clues. Okay, this seems a little inappropriate.
1, 2, 3!
I was gonna tell them that this is kind of inappropriate, but I guess that's why they're running away from me. I don't really know. Is there another clue? Oh, age. F and H. I still have no idea what's going on. I do think these are really beautiful alphabets, though. They're perfectly symmetrical. This is perfectly symmetrical, and this can be made into this. And I'm seeing another. S. Don't hurt me. Oh my God. Oh, I'm seeing strong. I'm seeing high. And I'm seeing fast. But I still don't know what this episode is going to be about. So let's have they help me.
My name is Stefan Nguyễn. I'm a professional basketball player here in Vietnam. One of the quotes that I live by is to do what you love doing to the fullest, whether it's studying or to become a doctor or a basketball player. My biggest idol in life is my big sister, Pammy. She's a real fighter, and she has been through a lot that really amazed me.
Now I finally know who our guest is. He's definitely super fast, he can jump really high, and he's also really strong. And he's in there. Girls, are you ready to meet him? I bless you with FSH. Our guest is already there. I heard he's 6'4", which is 195, but let me clarify, and he's here. Hi, how are you? No, sit there, sit there.
All right.
I'm just gonna move over here, so that we can be very comfortable, or I can be very comfortable, because we can be eye to eye.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Nice to meet you and welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here.
So let's start the conversation, guys. IELTS hot seat, starting right now. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Stefan. How tall are you?
I'm 6'4", which converts to being 195, so...
Stand up. You are very, very tall.
Thank you.
A lot of people recognize you by your height. A lot of people recognize you by the fact that you play basketball, right? What is that one thing that you feel like people should recognize you by?
This is what a lot of people tell me, is that, oh, Stefan, you're quite kind. You're a kind person. I love being around people. I love being around, talking, get to know people. So it's one of the parts that people don't really recognize. But
now, we talk about speed. Speed is also something that you need for work. So what are some of the occasions where you've made those fast decisions?
When I was young, I had a coach that really coached me, not on the basketball level, but also on the life level. He had a quote that still gets stuck with me now. I try to be fast, but don't hurry. I never want to hurry in my decisions. I don't want to hurry in whatever I do. I'm trying to prepare myself for situations where I have to stress.
I love that, love that. And do you generally do things very quickly?
I do. I always try to improve, because as much as I want to learn stuff and I want to do stuff at a pace where I feel like time is so underestimated, because you want to do so much in such a short of time.
I love how you put it, and I think it's so relatable to basically any industry and any type of action or decision we need to make. Let's talk about strong. Do you think you're a strong guy?
I don't know. I'm not doing a really good job of being like strong like that, but that's something, of course, I'm working on. Physical strong and mentally being strong.
I do know that you've had to test and to really, really hone that strength, both physically and mentally. So tell us a little bit more about how you actually managed to train that muscle.
I'm lucky to be around great teammates, great coaches, and one of my best friends and one of my look up to most, his name is Justin Parks. So what he really focused me on is that it all starts in my head. Like if I set my mind to it, that I want to become stronger, heavier, or like lift more weights, is all up to yourself. Being strong, it all starts from up here, from your mind. So that's what I believe in.
I think that mentality is very, very prevalent in people who do sports, in athletes, because it really is a lot of endurance. It is a lot of, just pushing yourself to the next level. Yeah. So, you know, your story to Vietnam happened because of your family. Your mother encouraged you to come back.
Yeah.
Why did you make that decision?
I started playing basketball when I was 11 years old. So every Lunar New Year, every summer, every winter, my mom always find ways to go back to Vietnam. She always encouraged me like, hey, come visit Hải Phòng and visit Vietnam, and because we have a lot of family there, they would love to meet you and everything. But I was so stuck up in like, I'm Swedish and I'm playing basketball in Sweden and I have this tournament here, I have this, that, there. I never saw the bigger picture. So my last year of high school, my mom passed away. And one thing I promised myself was that I would come back and fulfill the wish that she wanted for me to come back and reunite with my family. So doing that, having a reason not going to Vietnam because of basketball, I'm now coming back to Vietnam thanks to basketball. I believe that it is destined for me to like be here, come home, and I really feel like this is home for me. So
you said come home.
Yeah.
And you were a person that had never lived in Vietnam in
Never.
the past. So where does this come home feeling come from?
All my life, I always have this big question mark of who I am. Being the odd one out all your life, always been a question for me. I speak like everyone. I think like everyone. I do everything like everyone. But every time I pass a mirror, every time I see myself somewhere, I look so different from everyone else. I never filled it really, that hole, until I got back here to Vietnam. Because when I came back here, the way I am, the way I learned how to do certain things. For example, that my mom always, like when I was sick, she was doing a lot of ginger and everything in a hot tea, and I drank it. And when my Swedish friends saw it, they were like, "What are you doing? Like, what does ginger do? It's just a herb, you know." So when I got back here, it's a norm here. Like everybody does it. Like it's something that like we all believe in. So from being odd one out to being that you feel like you belong there, that's the feeling I got when I really got introduced to Vietnam.
I think that's beautiful. You know, that story of your mom giving you ginger tea, it's something that we're all so familiar with as Vietnamese people. So I have a couple of questions for you because those are questions that people always ask their guests. What is your favorite book at this point in time?
I was just finished Howard Cutler's book, When He Followed Dalai Lama. And it's a book where he speaks a lot of, like, not Dalai Lama himself as a self-biography, but as he follows him on how he's doing his seminars, how he's sleeping, how he's meeting people. So he just follows him. That is a book I read before every basketball game.
Oh, wow. So what is your favorite idiom or a favorite vocabulary in English that you'd like to share with the audience?
One thing I live by is that do what you love and do it to the fullest. Even if it's a hobby or if it's a job or whatever, like do it. If you love it so much, just do it. Like just follow your heart and do it. Yeah.
It's beautiful. Well, this is time for us to compete. I know you're on the court all the time, so I'm going to invite you to a game on the stage. You ready?
Yeah, always.
All right. IELTS Face-Off Challenge is the next section. Guys, don't go anywhere because you'll get to see a match between us. This is the IELTS Face-Off Challenge, and today we have our lovely athlete Stefan Nguyễn here with us. And even though he wins on the court, we're going to try and win this together.
All right, let's do it.
Welcome to my team. So the rule of the game is this. We have to tell a story, each one of us saying one sentence to tell the story, and we need to have F, H, and S within that story as part of the words.
All right.
All right? So shall we start?
All right.
I already have some characters in my head.
Me too.
And the person's name is Frederick. So Frederick has a sheep, and this sheep is very beautiful, and it is basically shiny.
That's a good one. I have Stefan.
You have Stefan.
So this story is Stefan's story shows face-off short story. That's all S. Yeah.
Stefan and the sheep are beginning to enter a freaking lovely story.
Stefan doesn't like sheep. He likes goats. Because goats are also known as greatest of all time.
As far as Stefan and the sheep can go, one day, the lovely Hilda, the godmother, decided to join Stefan and the sheep together to make a marvelous, marvelous, fabulous pancake.
Hilda got lost in Hanoi, shooting sheeps while Stefan was trying to save the sheeps.
And for the love of the world, the story ends with everybody having a happy ending. Stefan and sheep survived, while Hilda gets to have another fabulous pancake.
I must say you won that challenge. I didn't have a chance.
I think we need to refine this story.
Yeah,
a lot
I think
more.
so too. I wish I could do it again. I understand the challenge now.
So thanks a lot for coming. It's been a fantastic talk and, you know, nice to share the court with you today. So let's continue to potentially keep in contact and make sure that we are able to really, really, really change Vietnam for the better.
And I want to thank you guys a lot for having me here. I've been following you guys' shows. You have some amazing guests, and hopefully, like you say, we keep in contact.
I'm sure a lot of people would love to see you again soon, so make sure you come back.
For sure.
All right, so thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot. Oh, thank you.
I do the hugs, I don't do the handshake. And then now we can do the handshake.
Now we do the handshake. Then we get this
right.
both for both.
IELTS expert section coming right up next, guys, so don't go anywhere. Stay tuned and make sure you continue watching us.
Next, welcome back our lovely Khánh Vy and IELTS on the go. And in this episode, we'll bring Khánh Vy to her nostalgic old school time. Here comes Phan Bội Châu High School from the gifted in Vinh City, Nghệ An province. Also, Khánh Vy's high school. What stories are going to be shared today? One of these youngsters will volunteer to be Voice of the Week. Let's wait and see. But first, let's get to the studio and you will see our lovely IELTS expert from the British Council, Lily Kentman. Stay right there. Next part of the show comes to you right now.
With studying for the IELTS, a good prep book is a must.
IELTS books are rare to find, mostly out of stock, overpriced.
Well, but do you know there's a wealth of IELTS prep materials on tiki.vn? Ordering is a breeze, shipping is lightning fast, and they have tons of promotions to get you that sweet, sweet savings. Getting IELTS prep materials has never been easier, so log on to tiki.vn today.
Hey, we're back in the IELTS Face-Off studio, and we have our expert Lily with us today.
Hi everybody, hi Phoebe.
So Lily, today's topic is about personal best. So what is one of your best achievements?
Oh, I'm going to say something that's probably going to come across a little bit cheesy, but I think my greatest work is going to be my kids. Oh. So I say get after the study results, get after the career, but also if it's important to you to be a great homemaker and a great parent and to raise great kids, do it. For me, that's what feminism is. It's about choice, not about having to do it all.
Now, talking about choice, talking about home,
yes,
our lovely friend Khánh Vy
yes,
is returning to her home of Vinh, Nghệ An.
Okay.
And she's made a choice to visit her high school.
Oh, wow.
So we're
exciting.
We're gonna see the environment over at her high school when Khánh Vy revisits.
Okay.
So Khánh Vy, take it away. IELTS on the go.
Hi studio, this is IELTS on the go and I'm sitting next to three outstanding students from Phan Bội Châu Specialized High School for the Gifted. And now let's say hi!
Hi!
Can you give us some introduction?
Hello, my name is Khánh Vy and I'm currently a student at class 11C5 specializing English.
Hello, my name is Mi Hang. I'm currently studying at 12C5 majoring in English.
Hello, my name is Trần Đức Tâm and I'm from the same class as her. And English has been my entire life, so I'm quite passionate about it.
Wow, so excited. So we have Vy, Hạnh, and Tâm, and they all specialize in English. Super cool. Okay, so first question for you guys. When did you first realize that you like English and you wanted to specialize in English?
I think the first moment I realized I have a passion for English dates back to the time I studied class 8. That time I was struggle to find a major for me in the high school, and I have consulted my friends and my family, and they say that I have a talent in English. So I started to study it more carefully than before, and then I realized that I really like it.
Wow. And I know that Hạnh and Tâm has just got a 3rd prize in their national exam for the gifted of the subject of English. Congratulations! Okay, so have you guys taken the IELTS test yet?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes?
Me not.
You're not, because you're still in the 11th grade. So how about your scores?
I got 8.0.
8.0?
I got an 8.
That's impressive scores. Now, let's talk about the tips to learning IELTS. And I think that our little girl, Vy here, can listen to some of your advices and probably can work on it. Can you, each of you, share with us one tip of learning IELTS?
Well, actually, studying IELTS is a long process. And I think the most important thing is to have a clear target and also a proper and logic schedule to catch up with your time as well as your ability. One advice I will give to the audience is to take the mock test frequently so that you can know where you're at, you can know your ability, your capacity, your strengths and your weaknesses, and to improve that, and also to press yourself under a constrained time to get acquainted before coming into the real test.
Cool. I can work on it later. How about you, Tâm?
My advice is not entirely about taking the IELTS, but preparing the IELTS. You have to be stress-free, because when you're taking the exam, you'll be quite frustrated and annoyed by mistakes that you made, but you have to be able to get over it in order to do your best. So my advice is to have a lot of fun when you are studying. Play with your friends, go to a cafe or anything, and make sure that you find that the exam's fun, not a strain on your mentality.
Yeah, like we both play and learn at the same time, and that is super productive, right? We have talked a lot about, the tips to learning English and IELTS specifically, and there is also a surprise for you guys. One of you here will have a chance to take part in the IELTS speaking test, just a mock test, but we'll get the evaluation from the British Council expert. So who would that be?
I think I would give my chance to the girl.
The girls. So who would be that one?
Well, since I took my test this summer, so I will this chance to be.
Yeah, thank you.
It's reasonable because Vy has never ever taken the IELTS test, right? So here's your chance. Off you go. Good luck. Good luck.
So Lily, are you ready to face off?
I am.
Here comes voice of this week, Hiền Vy. She's lively with full of energy. Will she perform well in the real-time speaking test to face off our IELTS expert? We will know about this very soon. And let's wait to check out the useful tips for our IELTS exam. In this episode, Lily will share with you very useful reading tips. And last but not least, you can't miss the book of this week. The one very appropriate for someone aiming to start with modest band 5. Colin's Co-Built Keywords for IELTS, Book 1, Starter. Excited? Don't go anywhere. Next part of the show comes to you right now.
Welcome to the IELTS speaking test. My name is Lily Kentman. What is your full name, please?
My name is Hiền Vy.
Let's start with part 1. How do you keep your photos?
There are 2 ways in which I keep my photos. The first way is that I use with the shareable pictures, I post it on my social network in order to share it with my friends, and with the help of it, I think I could preserve it more effectively. The other way that I keep my photo is that I print it out and store it in a photo album.
Let's move on now to part 2. Describe a successful family business.
One of the biggest family business that I know is a tailor shop in my neighborhood. As my mother is an acquaintance of the head of the shop, so from a young age, I was usually taken there to tailor my suits for special events like my sister's wedding. I think that people from all age, from men to women, come there, could be the customer of the shop, as the shop caters for all the needs of the customer. There are 3 main reasons why that I presume the shop is the biggest and most famous family business in my province. The first reason is that it is precisely 30 years old up to now, and only the family members take over their family business. The other reason is that although it from the beginning it was just a small shop that fix the small stuffs like buttons or another stuff like that, it is now one of the biggest and most famous shop in my province. And the last reason is that many people, even outside of the province, come there only just to tailor a special suit for their special day.
Okay, that brings us to part 3. Do you think small business is likely to be replaced by bigger corporations?
From my perspective, I personally presume that small businesses are very likely to be replaced by bigger corporations, as small businesses do not have enough credentials like funds, brand image, or the popularity that bigger corporations have. So I think they are easily overwhelmed by bigger cooperation.
Thank you very much. That's the end of the speaking test. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Hey! How was the test?
I think I have done better work than I usually do.
Really? You were not nervous, right?
A little bit at the beginning, but in the end, I feel very comfortable.
And now let's hear some comments from the expert.
So Lily, what do you think of Hyunbi's performance?
One of the things that stood out for me was some of the vocabulary that she used. She's what we might call a risk taker, and she's taking some risks there with her word choices. On the whole, she's got the confidence, she's on the right track, she's pushing boundaries. So moving on to the biggest piece of advice I'd want to give to Hyunbi is to work on the pronunciation. Make sure that you're looking at stress. For example, for her, I'd be looking for things like events rather than events. That's going to really help you boost your score there. And also at sentence level, we've got something called emphatic stress. You delivered a great sentence, it was just missing the stress there. Let me deliver one of your sentences. It's now one of the biggest and most famous shops in my province. So just by taking that pause and having those weaker forms and that emphasis, you can really, again, boost the outcome for you when it comes to pronunciation in your speaking test.
Whoa! So in general, you did a really good job.
Yes, thank you.
Do you feel more confident now?
I think my confidence is boosted now. Yeah, because I get acquaintance to the format of the speaking test.
I hope that this will be a push for you and like a big foundation for you to get higher scores in the real IELTS test.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for coming to IELTS on the Go. I have prepared some gifts for you guys. This is the gift from VTV7, sorry,
Thank you.
and British Council. Thank you so much. And I do hope that you guys will always try your best in learning English and in learning so many other things because you are so promising and really inspiring. Thank you so much. And thank you for watching.
Guys, next up is the tips video. And we're going to be talking about the reading section today. Take a look. So Lily, what do you think about this week's reading tip?
Okay, so I think when it comes to reading, particularly when we're looking at the multiple choice questions, you often have a choice between some similar items, and there are also some kind of tricky true, false, not given questions where that not given is a real curveball. My advice to readers is make sure that your answer selection in multiple choice or true, false, not given is based on evidence from the text. Sometimes it's tempting to go, I've read this in general, my common sense tells me answer B is probably okay, but actually you've got to go back, you've got to find the evidence to support your selection and cross-check it, and that's how you're going to optimize your score on those kinds of questions in the reading test.
Thanks a lot for all of your tips. Well guys, if you're looking for a dose of inspiration or, chicken soup for the soul, make sure you check out our book suggestion this week. Take a look.
This dictionary contains keywords and phrases, frequently occurring academic vocabulary, which cover a range of common IELTS topics. Each word has a clear definition, examples, collocations, and usage notes. This book is appropriate for those candidates aiming to get an IELTS Band 5.
If you're looking to purchase those books that's recommended to you today, make sure you check out the Tiki app. And with just a swipe of a finger, you'll be able to get the books delivered right to your door. Everybody has about 24 hours a day, so our constraints are kind of similar. We have those 24 hours to make full use of, and I realize that some people are able to really make full use of those 24 hours, and other people maybe not so much. And I always look at a couple of my idols, for example, Tony Robbins is one of my idols, and then I have Barack Obama is another one of my idols, Hillary Clinton is another one of my idols, Mark Zuckerberg, Priscilla Chan. All of those people also have 24 hours. And so the question I always ask myself every day is, within all of those 24 hours, why do those people that I idolize, why are they able to create things that are extraordinary? And I think it boils down to the ability to want to do things, the ability to plan the day, and of course the ability to train ourselves so that we can think fast and we can act fast and we can complete multiple tasks in just one day. And having watched those people work and having read books by those people, I think every one of us, we can really push ourselves in ways that we can never imagine. Just like a rubber band, I think the human mind is extremely flexible. I think human endurance can also be trained, and I think human grit can also be formed. And the more challenging situations we put ourselves through, and the more that we're able to come up with solutions to get ourselves out of those challenging situations, the wider our elastic band and the wider our minds can stretch. And so that definitely has been my goal for the past couple of years, to really challenge my endurance level. So what is your endurance level, and what are you doing to stretch yourself and make sure that you can go further then what you can do now. Share with us. And for next episode, make sure you still tune in and make sure you give us your time because we'd love to see you every week. Take care. Bye.